Want to bring some retro synthesizer flair to your music? Today I'll be showing you how to use the vocoder in Logic Pro X. Drew Swisher here with Musician on a Mission, and today I'm going to be showing you how to set up the vocoder in Logic Pro X and how you can get some cool sounds out of it. So first things first, let's talk about how to set this up correctly, because if you just throw it on a MIDI channel, chances are you're only going to hear something like this. Which isn't a bad synth sound, but it's probably not what you're looking for when you pull open a vocoder. So first things first, you need to have your vocal ready to go.
Static creeps into my radio.
So I'm going to be affecting that vocal today. And a second thing you need to do is to create your vocoder track. And the way you're going to do this is create a new software instrument, not an audio track. And you're going to need to scroll down to the EVOC20PS vocoder synth. So once you've created your software instrument track with the vocoder on it, you're going to get a plugin that looks like this. And the first thing you're going to do once this is open is go up to the sidechain here. So the sidechain is what tells the vocoder what audio you're trying to run through it. So right now it's set to none, so there's no audio going through the vocoder. But once I go up into here, go through my audio tracks and select the vocals, now it knows what it's looking for. But once I play my keyboard, you'll notice that we're still just getting a regular synth sound. You know, that doesn't sound like a vocoder. And when we play it with the vocals, it's not even running the vocals through the output. So we need to change something else here, and that is the signal. So right now the signal is set to synthesizer, and there's also analog, and we need to set it to vocal. That way it knows that it should be playing the audio input that we've told it to. So let's try it out now.
Static.
There we go, a lot better. But you'll notice that we're still getting the regular vocal sound in there as well. So we're gonna wanna set the output for a regular vocal to no output. If we just mute it, it's going to mute it going into the vocoder as well. So we need to set it to no output. Now, once I play the track, play along on my keyboard, we're only going to hear the sound of the vocoder. Awesome, that's definitely better, but it's not really the kind of classic vocoder sound that we're looking for. So we're gonna need to make some tweaks. So one of the first obvious things we can do, of course, is look through presets here. So there's some regular synthesizers, but right now let's look at the vintage vocoder sounds. Let's just see what we got here. Awesome, that's a lot closer. But of course, there's still all of the settings here. You know, we're hearing the type of vocoder we want, but maybe we can tweak it a little bit more to get a bit closer to the sound we actually want. And the first thing I want to look at here is the voice type. So right now it's set to polyphonic, which would be great if I were trying to create a really digital choir sound. But what I'm looking for right now is a vocoded solo vocalist. So I'm going to set it to mono, and that means that as I play the keys, it's not going to play multiple keys at a time, it's only going to play one. So let me show you what that sounds like. And of course my performance is a little off time with the vocal there, but nonetheless you can tell that that sounds more realistic than this. Just a little less stunted and jarring. And the next thing we're gonna do is turn on Unison. So what this is gonna do is add multiples of the sound. This is really common in synthesizers, and it can work in vocoders as well, where basically instead of hearing just one single oscillator playing the synth part, you're doubling or tripling, or in this case, quintupling? We're multiplying the signal by 5. So I'm gonna turn the final volume down so that you can hear what it sounds like. Here it is without Unison. And here it is with Unison. And even once it's gain stage, you can tell that the tone is a bit thicker. That might not be what you want for every single vocal, of course. You know, if you want something that's a bit airier, you might not want the Unison on. But I find this is really helpful, especially when I'm vocoding the lead vocal of a song. The next thing I want to talk about here are the bands. And what these do is basically chop the vocal up into multiple frequency bands. And this helps the vocoder analyze the sound that's coming into it and better recreate it. So the more bands you have, generally speaking, the more realistic it's gonna sound. So here's with 20 bands.
Static creeps into my radio.
And here's with fewer bands.
Static creeps into my radio.
So yeah, as you can hear, with more bands, it's easier to hear what the words are and to pick out the vocal, but it sounds a little bit thinner. Whereas with fewer bands, it's a thicker sound, but it sounds a lot more digital. So a lot of the time, it's just a matter of tuning what sounds best for your particular vocal track. And for this one, I found that around 12 to 14 bands sounds pretty good.
Static creeps into my radio.
Next up, we've got the formants, and there's a few things we can do here. So we can stretch the formants and bring them closer together, or we can spread them out. This is basically narrowing the bands that I was talking about earlier, or making them longer. Generally speaking, as you turn the band ranges down with the formant stretch, you're gonna get something that sounds tighter.
Static creeps into my radio.
At the expense of intelligibility, though. It's going to be harder to tell what they're saying. With formant stretch, you're going to get something that sounds more open, and it's easier to tell what the words are.
Static creeps into my radio.
And the takeaway for this is, if you want a really digital sound, you may want to decrease the number of bands and maybe even narrow them. Whereas if you want it to sound more realistic, more open and intelligible, then you're going to want to use more bands and increase the formant range. Next up is Formant Shift, and what this is gonna do is basically give us a deeper or a higher sound without actually affecting the pitch. So here's how it sounds now.
Static creeps into my radio.
And here's how it sounds with the formant turned down.
Static creeps into my radio.
A deeper sound is if the singer was singing from their diaphragm, and we'll get a throatier, whisperier sound by pitching the formant up.
Static creeps into my radio.
This is honestly just gonna come down to personal preference. I like shifting the formants down, mostly just because I like that mid-range sound right there, but it's really up to what you like. And you may have noticed that we've got a filter up here as well, and this is basically going to filter out frequencies from the band ranges before they're even being synthesized. So if I want to cut out these lower frequencies up to 120 Hertz, I can do that. Or I could add a low pass filter and cut out some of the higher stuff. So if I wanted something really, really honed in on the mids, then I could do something like this.
Static creeps into my radio.
But generally speaking, you're probably not gonna wanna filter it too much, at least not at this stage. Maybe you'll do that in the mix a little bit more. And over here, we've got the Unvoiced Detection. And basically this is going to help the vocoder detect consonants. So there's a few ways it can do this. You can either use noise to recreate the consonants. It can use the actual noise from the recording, or it can use a blend of both. In my experience, the blend tends to sound the best, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. And we can dial in the sensitivity and level as well. So the sensitivity helps the vocoder understand when the consonants are coming in, and the level is how loud they are in comparison to the rest of the synth. So let's turn them down all the way so you can hear what it's like without those consonants.
Static creeps into my radio.
And you'll notice that the consonants aren't just totally gone, but it's a lot harder to make them out. And overall, the vocoder sounds more lifeless. So we're gonna wanna turn these back up. And how you set the sensitivity and level is really going to depend on the sound. You're just gonna have to trust your ears while you're dialing these in. So let's check it out now with them turned up a bit more.
Static creeps into my radio. Static creeps into my radio.
I kind of like how that sounds. I feel like it gives you a good blend of intelligibility and still having a cool digital sound that you'd want from a vocoder. Over here, we've got the oscillators themselves. So there are 2 oscillators, and this is the mix between them. So let's turn it all the way to oscillator 1.
Static creeps into my radio.
And all the way over to oscillator 2.
Static creeps into my radio.
And when you blend them together, you're gonna get something a lot nicer sounding.
Static creeps into my radio.
But we've also got a noise oscillator right here, which is gonna introduce noise to the sound.
Static creeps into my radio. Oh.
And you're not gonna wanna use the noise oscillator for every vocoder, of course, but if you're having trouble hearing the sound of the original vocal, you may wanna introduce a little bit of level on this noise oscillator. Basically, it makes it easier to tell what the words are. We've got another filter right here with this cutoff, so I could turn that down if I wanted a darker, mellower sound.
Static creeps into my radio. Oh.
A resonance for the filter.
Static creeps into my radio. Oh.
A little bit harsh for my taste. Next up, we've got analog right here, which as far as I can tell, I believe just introduces some detuning to the multiples of the oscillators. So you can get a bit more of a chorus sound using it.
Static creeps into my radio. Oh.
I don't necessarily love it for this sound, but if you want to get a thicker sound or maybe a more obviously affected one, you may want to introduce this. So just a couple more settings to talk about today. We've got some LFOs down here, and if you're unfamiliar with LFOs, be sure to check out my synth basics video. It's going to get you up to speed there. If we increase the depth here, then we're going to get some weird sounds.
Static creeps into my radio.
We can turn up the speed.
Static creeps into my radio.
Not going to be useful for a lot of synths, not what I'm going for today, but it's there if you need it. Then there's also a shift LFO, which is affecting the Formant Shift right here and basically automatically changing it. So if we turn that up, we'll gradually shift the formants over time.
Static creeps into my radio.
Dialing this in subtly can add some nice movement to your synth, and you can change the waveform and the speed right here, so that's another great way to dial it in for the right amount of movement you want for the song. And we've got some attack and release settings as well. So up here we've got attack and release for the sound coming in, and this is gonna help the vocoder understand the transients of the sound as they're coming through. Basically, you're gonna be able to get better fidelity. So if you've got a really punchy sound, you may want to turn the attack down. If you've got something that takes a while to totally fade out, you may want to increase the release. And then we've got another attack and release for the synthesizer itself. So these are for the sound coming into the vocoder so that it can better understand the sound it's hearing, and this is for the output. So if we want to make sure that the output is nice and punchy, we may want to turn down the attack and release, or if we want something a little more pad-like, we can turn them up. And finally, let's talk about these over here. So you've got your output right here. We can turn the synth up if we want to. We can also introduce some ensemble effects like this. Honestly, I don't think they sound that great. I'd probably just use a different ensembling effect for this because I don't love the sound, but you may get some use out of it, so it's worth checking out. There's also the stereo width, which is kind of the same thing. Honestly, I'd probably use a different stereo width plugin for this than the stereo width on board, because it's a bit finicky.
Notice these blue lines are that you see.
It just, in my experience, doesn't tend to distribute things evenly between the left and right channels, so I tend to keep the stereo width pretty low and use a different plugin if I want to widen things out. And of course, this is all just building off one of the presets here. You can try and build something from scratch yourself or go wild with all of the different sounds available to you. It's not the most robust vocoder out there. You know, if you've got another one, you may want to look into using it instead, but for those of you who are making the most of what you already have within Logic, you can get some really great sounds out of this. It just takes some tweaking. It may take you a little bit longer, but especially if you take some time dialing in these attack and release settings, as well as the bands and the formants, you're probably gonna get some really great results. But cool synth effects are just one part of making great music at home. If you really wanna make sure you get the most out of every track, make sure you check out this free workshop from Rob Mazes at Musician on a Mission. He goes over the 7 steps to getting radio-ready mixes and shows you his approach to home recording and mixing, which will help you do all of this way faster. 36,000 people have already done this workshop, and it really only takes a few days to start seeing results. So check it out if you want to avoid wasting your time and money on the wrong things and learn the 7 steps you actually need to make pro mixes. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you really like this video, hit that subscribe button. With the power of this vocal sound, after I take the level here and just turn it up 60 dB, and then go over here and turn it up another 60 dB, and then maybe add another gain plugin on there and just turn it up another 24 dB, and then maybe just double that and double that. And yeah, just hit the subscribe button with the power of however loud that sound would be. Drew here with Musician on a Mission. I'll talk to you again soon, and remember, create regardless.